morning, everybody. This is a really exciting day to be in Upton. This is an exciting day to be in Baltimore. There are so many great things happening in this city, and this morning really represents one of them. I want to, before we get started, just say thank you to Mayor Young. Thank you for being here today, kicking this event off and making the award. Mayor Young's commitment to the city is I think known by everybody. I can't take a vacation, no matter where I go. I could be on top of the Empire State Building, the Eiffel Tower. Jack's gonna call me. And I take that call because nothing stops in Baltimore. And I appreciate that commitment. I also wanted to thank Secretary Holt for being here. I mean, this is an extraordinary partnership, a state, city, and local partnership. And it isn't just an issue of the extraordinary amount of capital support that Baltimore City has received from the state of Maryland, $75 million in the first term of Governor Hogan's office, but we're on pace in FY20, fingers crossed, to the passing of the budget for the exact same pace, $18.75 million in FY20. And what that money represents is a significant commitment to our neighborhoods, because there's a lot of capital support we need. And if that was only it, that would be enough. But really, it's Secretary Holt and his team, their dedication to our city, their presence everywhere at every event is just beyond the sort of capital support. So we're very lucky to have that kind of support. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I also wanted to acknowledge our council members who are here today. This is Councilman Costello's district. I also get a call 24/7 from Councilman Costello about anything and everything going on in his footprint, and sometimes it's really great, and sometimes it's 7 o'clock on a Saturday when we're having an illegal demolition at 1411 Division Street. Not so great, but he's on the spot, and we follow right afterwards. And Councilman Leon Pinkett, can't thank you enough for all the work that you have been doing to build and launch the West Baltimore Gateway. With our community leaders, I feel really privileged and honored to do this work, which is really a way to support our longtime community leaders. I see Wanda Best, Upton Planning Committee, Doc Cheatham. I know I saw Jules Dunham-Howie here earlier, and Marion Blackwell, and oh yeah, Mr. Mayor, you would not have to remind me to acknowledge Janet Allen. We have been working on a daily basis, and I think we're paying back a debt. We owe Heritage Crossing maybe 20-year debt right here today, in addition to the commitment to Upton. And I also want to just acknowledge Chris Ryer from the Planning Department, and then everyone from the team at DHCD, state and city, who make this happen on a daily basis. And I see our Druid Heights partners, John Dre back there. This really is about the West Side, and the West Side's the future of the West Side, which is going forward now. So I want to say that the City of Baltimore laid out a community development framework. I'm going out of the camera for a second. Here it is. There's copies over here, but we literally spent some time. If we split the agency, the Department of Housing and Community Development and the Housing Authority, it was to create a robust community development agency, the kind of agency that could meet needs in our long disinvested communities. And we owed, I think, Mayor, when creating an agency like new agency, DHCD, standalone agency, we owed the public a statement of what our direction would be, what our commitments will be going forward. And as part of a very broad set of statements, we made a commitment to geographically, strategic commitment to 4 impact areas in the city, and West Baltimore, Upton, Druid Heights, Penn North are part of that commitment. And that is land, capital, and community working together, because these neighborhoods are poised, really are poised for transformative growth in the near term. And that takes investment. So I'm not going to go into the details of the framework. I'd encourage everybody to take a look, but there's new capital, new partnerships, and new opportunities, and today is one of them. So we set out to offer several RFPs. The 800 blocks of Harlem and Edmondson are among them, and today we share the results of that RFP. I'm not going to make the award. I'm going to ask the mayor to do that. But we have significant investment, and just before we do that, There's so much going on here. This is just off the top of my head. Our state, local partnerships, the efforts that are being made in the community, the launch of the West Baltimore Gateway. We have significant plans and investment for the Avenue Market. We have a partnership with the state stabilizing the Upton Mansion that way. The Upton Mansion right now undergoing renovations. There's state support, the Upton Planning Committee going into home ownership opportunities on Dolphin Street. We've sold 2 houses on Druid Hill Avenue for close to $240,000 to homeowners. A house literally on Edmondson and Gilmore in Harlem Park just sold for $260,000. So we are on the move. In Druid Heights, we have Cab Calloway Square, can I call it that? Which is underway right now with renovations at Baker's View on the north side and renovating the 2200 block of Druid Hill Avenue facing it. I could keep going, but I'm not, because a lot of folks behind me. There is a lot happening. And that all doesn't necessarily make the headlines, but there's great things happening in Baltimore on a daily basis. So with that, I want to step aside and ask our mayor ex officio, and our friend, ex officio Mayor Bernard Jack Young, to come up and make a few announcements. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is a great moment for the city of Baltimore, and particularly for West Baltimore and the Upton communities. Excuse me. We're here to announce the selection of a developer for the revitalization of 38 vacant city-owned properties. This is a revitalization project that will address blight and transform this beautiful block. Today is a day we are making good on promises to this area that have been long neglected. And this revitalization effort will serve to anchor future development in this community. I want to thank Secretary Holt for joining us today. We would not be standing here making this significant announcement without the support of our state partners. We have been working in true partnership, and today represent all of the pieces coming together. Secretary Holt will tell you more about the state's investment into this community. I want to underscore that the city is invested in this neighborhood along with the state. We want to ensure home ownership outcomes in this area, and our development subsidy will help ensure that outcome. Home ownership is a powerful tool to disrupt intergenerational poverty, foster wealth generation, and stabilize neighborhoods. This development will attract and support new buyers, and our subsidy will help maintain a level of affordability. Meeting another of our city goals towards economic inclusion, it is notable that the development award we are announcing today goes to an MBE-WBE enterprise. It is fitting that a minority and woman-owned business enterprise will realize the opportunities and jobs generated from this investment into development in this area. With all that said, I'm pleased to announce that the Upton Renaissance LLC has been chosen as the developer for the 800 block of Harlem and the 800 block of Edmondson, and you can clap for that. Upton Renaissance LLC is a group of seasoned real estate professionals committed to true community development. The ownership group includes Stanton View Development, Paris Development, and Tower Hill Harrison Development. And what I like about this team is that they have a mission to first connect with the community and to serve the community. We are pleased to be awarding them today with the development rights for the revitalization of these buildings. I want to say that Councilman Costello has worked tirelessly and hard to make sure that this project and this development happens. I want to thank him for his commitment. I want to thank Michael and his team. I want to thank all of the partners that have made this project worthwhile. I would be remiss if I did not thank the Upton Planning Commission, along with their president, Wanda Bass, and for Janet Allen, working together to make sure that we do the right thing and bring these communities together. And we're looking forward for both of them, the Upton Planning Council and the Heritage Crossing community, to work closely together. We have so much work to do, and we need to be focused on getting the work done. And that's all I have to say. And at this time, I want to invite Councilman Costello up before we make the award so he can have some comment. I'm sorry. I want to invite the Secretary of Department of Housing, our partner. I don't want to make that mistake, because we need you to continue to bring that money. I'm not going to make that mistake. We want that money. And he has been committed to Baltimore, and we want to keep him committed. Matter of fact, the next time you speak before me.
Thank you, Jack.
I got too excited.
Yeah. Well, so we'll talk a little bit about dollars and cents here. You know, the whole matter of subsidy is so important, and it drives the affordability of this rehabbed housing. And I'll just describe a little bit how it works. Let's say this is a $250,000 unit. Once it's rehabbed, we will provide the state and the city in concert between $50,000 and $60,000 of subsidies, so that the mortgage for the home buyer is going to be in the $190,000 level. So there's immediate equity that's built into these kinds of properties. And we provide subsidy in all of our acquisition rehabs throughout the city. There's new housing right next door here, and what a wonderful mix of the old historic footprint with the brand new housing. And whether it's on Baker Street in Druid Heights or Druid Hill, I think we have this beautiful combination of old and new, and that is what is going to revitalize and make Baltimore thrive. If you look at what's going on in Washington, D.C., 40-some miles away, 3-story beautiful historic townhomes are bringing $1 million or more. It's just absolutely incredible. This is where the true value is for home ownership, and I believe that the momentum is just beginning to build in a very, very profound way. There are so many state, federal, and city incentives that are coming in to revitalize, one of which is called opportunity zones. There are 42 opportunity zones across the city. This is not a particular opportunity zone, however, but some of the very hard-hit, needy areas in the city now have the capacity to attract private equity capital. So underserved areas are now going to be targets for private capital to come in to create new and improved home ownership. So Project Core, creating opportunity for renewal and enterprise, the state program that Michael had referred to and that Jack Young has been so cooperative in working with us. That program, that's a $75 million state program matched by city dollars to create much more than $100 million. That's why all this is going on right now. When you add the private sector through Opportunity Zone capital, it's going to create a kind of a flourishing real estate environment. And Jack was concerned about tax assessments. He doesn't want to drive the tax assessments up, obviously. But if you have a community that needs nourishment, you have to bring the capital in to nourish the community. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. And I want to thank each and every one of you, because you're sort of the soldiers who are making this reality come true. I'm deeply appreciative and really enjoy our working partnership. It's very, very successful. Probably the most successful partnership in the nation. And there's a lot of divisiveness that's going on across the country, but not in Baltimore City and not in Maryland. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. At this time, we're going to hear from the councilman of this district, Councilman Art Costello. Let's give him a hand.
This will easily go down as one of the most memorable days in my 4.5 years of having the honor of serving the 11th District on the City Council. I cannot even begin to explain how excited I am for today. Today's announcement builds off the work of two of my predecessors on the Council, Kiefer Mitchell and Bill Cole. This is such a long time coming. This builds off of the unwavering commitment of Mayor Young to Central West Baltimore absolutely unwavering commitment. This builds off of Michael Braverman, Commissioner Braverman's community development framework and the vision that he's had at housing that he's been pushing along for years. But most importantly, this is really about bringing a community-driven developer who's an MBE and WBE to our neighborhood here to help drive this with community input. And even more importantly than that, this is about just the tireless commitment that Janet Allen from Heritage Crossing, Wanda Best from Upton have had to this community over the years and have stuck with this year after year, month after month, day after day to try and get us to this point that we're at right now. This is not possible without Janet's help. It is not possible without Wanda's help. We are not here today. And of course, thank you, Secretary Holt. We certainly wouldn't be here without your support and the state's support. I am so excited about what's next to come in Central West Baltimore. You heard Commissioner Braverman talk about all these exciting projects. You heard Secretary Holt talk about the unprecedented level of support that the state has given to Central West Baltimore. And I'm just incredibly excited to work with Mayor Young, Councilman Pinkett, Janet, Wanda, and other leaders in Central West Baltimore to help continue to push the needle in Central West Baltimore and continue to revitalize like what we're going to do when we bring back to life the 800 blocks of Harlem and Edmondson Avenue. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. This is not Councilman Pinkett's district, but we want to give him an opportunity to say something because you know what I mean when I talk about legacy homeowners.
Thank you, Mayor Young. Thank you, Councilman Costello, for inviting me into your district. I appreciate the partnership that we share in West Baltimore, moving it forward. As Commissioner Braverman said earlier, we had the opportunity together, both myself, Councilman Costello, along with Councilman Bullock, to stand together and launch a new effort that aligns with exactly the vision that Commissioner has for West Baltimore as we launched the West Baltimore Gateway. And in that launching, at the heart of it is a collaboration between communities, Penn North, Druid Heights, and Upton. And efforts like this don't happen without collaboration. They don't happen without partnership. And so we celebrate that, and I see so many stakeholders today. But I would be remiss to not mention that even at the core of the West Baltimore Gateway and the efforts that we have performed and you will see moving forward is that we are bringing investment to the community that without the displacement. And so none of us who have labored in these communities for any amount of time would want our efforts to bear fruit that removes legacy residents. And so I think I'm most excited about the fact that we are sensitive to that, and each of our projects, each of the initiatives, each of the efforts take into consideration that yes, we're bringing value to communities that have been disinvested for so long, but we are adamant about protecting those legacy residents. So I'm thankful for the celebration. Thank you for allowing me to celebrate with you today. This is a great day for West Baltimore, and there's more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Dean Harris. Harrison, you and your team can come forward. Okay. Baltimore City Department of Housing Community Development of Choice, Harlem Edmondson RFP Award, April 30th, 2019. The City of Baltimore Department of Housing and Community Development grants the right of development for the 800 block of Edmondson Avenue and the 800 block of Harlem Avenue to Upton Renaissance LLC. The redevelopment of these city-owned properties in the historic Upton neighborhood will support homeownership goals of existing and future residents of the City of Baltimore. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. All right. Well, thank you again on behalf of the Upton Renaissance team. I just want to say thank you, one, to the community, Ms. Bess and Jules and Ms. Allen. Thank you for your support. Going from the community, we will go up to the council president, who's now the mayor. Mayor Young, thank you very much. Councilman Costello, thank you for your support. Councilman Pinkett, thank you for your support. And I just want to point out again the partnership that's existing between the mayor and the council members, and how they've come together to support West Baltimore is a beautiful thing. Also want to thank Secretary Holt, and last but not least, the Commissioner of Housing, Michael Braverman, and his deputy, Mr. Jalal Green. Also, planning, who worked with Upton, who created the master plan that went very well. So again, thank you all, and again, thank you to my great team here, and we look forward to, again, working hard to really bring this vision to fruition, and we're humbly grateful that you've given us the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. And we all are so excited about the beginning that's here today, but it's not really a beginning, right? Because so much has been happening in Upton for so many years. So many other things are in motion. It's another foundation stone in what's a very, very exciting future. And as I said at the beginning, I think I can speak for Secretary Holt and his team and myself. It is really a privilege and an honor to work with our community leaders to try and bring the resources and technical assistance and expertise and land to the community, land and capital to the community, so that they can realize their aspirations. So with that said, and that is of course one of the best parts of the job, I want to ask Wanda Best, representing the Upton Planning Committee, to come forward and share a few remarks with us.
Good morning. As a resident of the Upton community for over 30 years and executive director of the Upton Planning Committee, I'm very happy to be standing before you today. The community has been through 3 stalled efforts to rehabilitate these homes over the past 20 years, from the demolition of Murphy homes to the design and development of Heritage Crossing. The difference between those efforts and this one is the investment. The state DHCD and Baltimore City DHCD have committed significant investment to ensure that this project is successful. Without the gap financing being provided for 38 new homes, this would not be possible. UPC and Upton are confident that the Upton Renaissance Development Team, we believe in them. We know that in the very near future, we'll have homeowners on these 2 blocks. Again, thank you, Secretary Holt, Mayor Jack Young, and Commissioner Braverman for working hard to help us move this project forward. Upton is committed to continuing engagement with the community development process and excited about the partnership we have established with the state and the city. Since completing the 2026 Master Plan, which was adopted by the Planning Commission in August of 2018, under the leadership of the Board of Directors President, Mr. Darrell Cribb, who's not here, and the Board of Directors, and Jules Dunham Howey, our Development Chair, we have leveraged $3.5 million in state investment and currently have $36 million in revitalization underway. Working together, thank you. Working together with the Gateway Corridor, we know that the Upton community will be revitalized without mass displacement. Thank you. Jules, did I say everything I was supposed to say?
Thank you, Wanda. So if we just look down the block on the right there, we see Heritage Crossing. 260 townhomes, half of which are home ownership. And this has been a long wait for the residents of Heritage Crossing as well. And I think that this began a long time ago with Jules, Wanda, and Janet Allen pushing to make sure that this was attended to. So it's a great moment, a long time coming, and I'd like to invite Janet Allen from Heritage Crossing, years, decades of effort to get us here today to give us some remarks. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Janet Allen. I'm the president of the Heritage Crossing Resident Association. For those of you not familiar with Heritage Crossing, we're a mixed income community. We are that beautiful community just like a half a block away. We have 260 units, and I think we have about 3 for sale in case anybody's interested. I am a native Baltimorean who moved into Heritage Crossing the Monday before Thanksgiving in 2002. At that time, I was green. I had no knowledge of redlining or disinvestment. So when I was told what a great investment purchasing a house at Heritage Crossing would be, I believed. During this 17-year period, we have witnessed the cancellation of the red line, the super block cancellation, the State Center project cancellation, and about 3 RFPs for this particular corridor. But guess what? I still believe that this area is a great area to invest in and to live in and to work in and to play in. This day gives me hope and excitement that our dreams of building a stronger, healthier, sustainable community throughout West Baltimore will come into fruition. Hope makes the heart grow glad. It will come into fruition because of leaders like Wanda Best, like our esteemed Mayor Young, Councilman Costello, our Commissioner Michael Braveman, Mr. Holt, did I get that right? And my classmate from the best class ever, Leon Pinkett. I would like to take this time to really thank Acting Mayor Young, because over these 17 years, I think I would have given up, I would have thrown away the towel if he had not been there, like encouraging and helping to guide me through the process of navigating city services. So from the bottom of my heart, the Heritage Crossing community thanks you. We thank you so much. We thank you for orchestrating events so that as a stakeholder, Heritage Crossing will have a voice at the table for this important community development project. I also want to thank my councilman, Eric Costello, for facilitating and gathering us together at the table and saying, now y'all talk, y'all work it out. And so we were able to talk, we were able to collaborate, we were able to compromise, and we are now at this particular day, which is a great day. So I'm very thankful for that. The Upton Planning Committee and both the Maryland and Baltimore City Department of Housing and Community Development, I thank you for your labor and for sitting at the table so that we could work together towards shared goals and visions. Last but by no means least, I want to say an extra thanks to Commissioner Michael Braveman. He is accessible. I do sometimes call him on Sundays. And I said, what are you doing? Oh, I'm with my son and we're like cooking dinner right now. And if I had a concern, I could talk to him about it. And he has a very nice voice. You all know that, right? Very smooth voice. And he has a way of just calming things down and really speaking life into a situation. So that was very important through this process. It was a process. It really was. And while I realize this is a first step, it is a very important step. And so I want to urge everyone to keep on stepping and working towards developing an economically strong and vibrant community for now and for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. That gets us to the end of a program. I just wanted to point one thing out before we left, in addition to thanking everyone. What an extraordinary team, what an extraordinary effort. When we talk about reinvesting in communities, Dean, I hope I get this right, but this is about a $10 million total development cost year. So we are talking about bringing $10 million right here to the 800 blocks of Harlem and Edmondson. Dean largely doing that, but a quarter of that coming from a state and city partnership to leverage that investment right here in Baltimore, right here on the blocks of Harlem and Edmondson. And the other thing I wanted to say is, is we had a new way of doing business. Both the Department of Housing and Community Development, our planning department, and Chris is here representing that, and our partner with the state. And I wanted to say about Project Core, Secretary Holt, that people often think that it's about a demolition program. But I think where we're standing here today proves it is equally a reinvestment in neighborhoods program. And it combines the two things right there on Edmondson. There'll be a small amount of demolition on some of the worst deteriorated homes on Edmondson, supported by Project Core. And on the balance of Edmondson and where we stand here today on Harlem, it is a reinvestment program supported by Project Core. So Project Core really is an extraordinary asset as we move forward reinvesting our communities in Baltimore City. So I wanted to thank everyone for coming out, and I'm going to be back here soon with all of you, and we are going to be smelling sawdust. That is what we want to be smelling here. So everybody have a great morning. Thank you so much. I think there's some coffee and there's some donuts, so hopefully we can mill around a little bit and enjoy the moment. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. What Michael failed to say was we're going to bring BDC to the table too for some community and neighborhood economic development. They're going to be at the table as well. Thank you.
Okay.